everyone, welcome back to another 1v1 battle for Warhammer. I am bringing Wurzag and the Greenskins versus the Bretonnians. So I'm testing out something here where I have just a main line of multiple goblins, and behind those goblins I have 3 Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, which are the anti-infantry poison damage units, and then I also have 2 Squig Herds with the anti-infantry armor-piercing squigs. So the idea is the goblins run in first, and then the squigs come in behind and deal poison and armor-piercing damage to the Bretonnian infantry line. Meanwhile, I have 4 Orc Boarboy Biggins supported by 2 Goblin Big Bosses and Wurzag to try and take out any Bretonnian cav. So that is the idea. The Bretonnian is being led by the Fey Enchantress. They also have 2 Knights of the Realm and 2 Knights Errant over here. They also have 2 Foot Squires. They have multiple men-at-arms with shields, specifically, I believe. Yeah. So they have like 7 of these guys, I think. I was not expecting this many men-at-arms because I haven't seen people bring men-at-arms that much. They usually just bring peasants and foot squires. There's also 2 of the Grail relics over here, 2 peasant bowmen, 1 man-at-arms with polearm, and I believe that would be it. Yeah, so that's going to be their whole line. So this battle is starting a little ahead of when the initial battle started. The enemy began their spot right here. I began right there. And obviously I've moved up now over here, and the enemy has withdrawn to over here. I'm assuming to get a choke point to further enhance the amount of units supported by the Grail relics. And I did not want to fight there. So right over here, I'm going to be hitting multiple brain busters on these archers because I want to pull the enemy out of this little defensive choke point, because I do not want them to have the Grail relics supporting like 4 or 5 units at a time. So for a while, I'm going to be sitting out here with Wurzag, going to be going in and doing brain busters over and over and over again. But the enemy is not going to ever come out, unfortunately. So you go, there's another brain buster. You can see how much damage it did to that peasant bow. That's going to actually be withdrawn from battle. So I'm going to do another brain buster over here. Did some decent damage, and again, I'm just trying to goad the opponent to come out of their little choke point area. But they just refuse. They're not going to do it. They're just going to sit here. They try and take some shots at Wurzag. I'm going to do one more time against one of these foot squires back here. And still the enemy does not come out. And I do need some magic to support the actual fight. I have Here We Go and Fist of Gork. And the combo here is that Wurzag, I took his items that grants him 16 melee attack and 18% charge bonus on the entire army for 20 seconds when casting. So I'm going to need to cast spells throughout the course of the battle to keep everyone's melee attack up to plus 16 in their charge bonus. The other thing is increased power reserve rate and power recharge rate. So after casting, I think 4 brain busters, I'm like, well, okay, I don't think the Bretonnian is going to be coming out of their choke point area over here. So I'm now getting my army ready, and I'm lining them up about like there, and then we're going to just charge in, and I'm going to have my cav come around over to the side, again supported by Wurzag and the 2 goblin big bosses back here. I have a lot of poison damage in this army. The enemy, seeing that we're going to be charging in, is going to start withdrawing back to their lines here. I'm going to try and get some damage in on these peasant bows with the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. Now, I believe, last I checked, these are considered large. Squig Herds are not considered large. So I did not want to run these guys into the men-at-arms. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Squig Hoppers are considered large creatures. So the bonus versus large the men-at-arms have would kind of destroy them. So we just kind of run around, and we're going to get into these peasant bows, and that's when the Knights of the Realm are going to start descending from the hill. So we're going to start counter-charging and pulling them out like this, and hitting them with the Orc Boarboys. Just kind of waiting. We're going to get a Fist of Gork over here, which is going to trigger the plus 16 melee attack and charge bonus for the rest of the army. And this one Goblin Squig Hopper is just doing a lot of damage to this peasant bow. We're going to charge in the Squig Herd. I cancel at the last moment because they are still armor piercing, so I'm going to try and gang up on all of these knights that are coming down from the hill. And we're just going to kind of do just charge after charge after charge after charge. So it's just a massive cav battle over this entire area. I just love using these painting tools. And I'm trying to spread my poison damage here, the Goblin Big Bosses, and trying to hit as many of these knights as we can to spread the poison, and then charging them. And then we're going to be getting our goblins in here. Kind of a messy charge overall. Now we're going to be casting a Here We Go to refresh the plus 16 melee attack to the entire army, and the goblins are going to start coming in to fight against this right flank of the enemy army. The Fey Enchantress is going to cast, I believe, Awakening of the Wood here to try and deal some damage to us. I don't see this spell used often. It does do some damage to our Squig Herds. And again, right now, I'm just kind of focused on killing these Knights of the Realm and the Knights Errant, and the massive amount of Orc Boys and these Squig Hoppers, the poison damage, and the Goblins are going to win the day for us here in this cav battle, because their cav is not supported by their infantry line, which is now just starting to move up, while mine is supported by all sorts of things. But over here you can see we're getting into the battle against these men-at-arms and the pole arms. Going to be running these guys back, I think, soon-ish. And this is going to be a very messy charge. So the plan is the goblins run Vanguard and engage and take the shock of the enemy infantry line. And then the squig hoppers and squig herds come in behind them and then just chomp on the infantry. Foot squires or whatever. Now, this is a very messy charge because I was micromanaging a lot, now trying to get out of that comment of Casadora. So my squig hoppers are actually going to kind of march ahead of the goblin lines, which is not what I wanted, but it's what is happening. So now we're getting the squig, or the goblin big bosses in here to try and distract these men-at-arms. And again, this is a very messy charge. I'm going to try and get our cav around this area over here to finish up the enemy cav that is going to come back around this area, and also to try and do rear charges here and here and get off these peasant bowmen off the battlefield. Here we cast a wall to try to support the nearby units, although it doesn't honestly hit that many. And I'm trying to keep Warzag nearby because he does emit that damage resistance. I kind of move him a little too far ahead, though, not actually supporting the main army. Over on our left flank, you can see the goblins are kind of getting overwhelmed by the foot squires, men-at-arms, and the Fey Enchantress. But on the right flank, we do have a lot of his quick hoppers. Goblin Big Boss is still alive. And here we go. The enemy cav is going to start chasing Warzag, so we're going to come in here with the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And right now, I'm trying to get our Goblin Big Bosses on this Grail Relique to try and bring it down. And then I'm going to have them disengage and go on this Fey Enchantress who I just hit with the spell from Warzag, that unique spell that he has that pins them in place and deals match damage over time. I think I'm pulling in, yeah, we're pulling in some squig herds now to try and get some reinforcements. And now my orc boys, after dealing with these cav for a second time, is going to start piling into the peasant bowmen. I'm going to refresh our melee attack here with another Fist of Gork on one of these orc boys, I believe, very soon. And again, I'm trying to keep Warzag out of combat because if, well, he's not out of combat right now, but if he's out of combat, that's when the damage aura or damage resistance aura is active. But if he is in combat, it is deactivated. Is this going to be Here We Go? Okay, so I cast another Here We Go. I'm sorry, not a Fist of Gork. So we cast Here We Go to try and finish off the Foot Squires, Men-at-Arms, and the Peasant Bowmen over here. Meanwhile, over here, we are still cleaning up the fight, but this Grail Relique is keeping these Men-at-Arms in the fight for so very long. I tried to snipe it, but we weren't really doing much damage, so that's why I disengaged. Now the Goblin Big Bosses again are on the Fey Enchantress and dealing a lot of damage to her, or at least one of them is. There's the second one, going in to fight the Fey Enchantress. We are kind of losing this fight, but the enemy is also starting to buckle under the weight of our goblins, squig hoppers, and then the orc boy is constantly doing rear charges and these foot squires. And again, just trying to keep Warzag out of the fight so he emits his damage resistance aura. And now at this point, these men-at-arms did fight to the bitter end, but they are basically dead at this point, so we're going to start getting more forces over here to assist against our left flank, where there are still foot squires and peasant bowmen, who are firing at Warzag, which took me a little while to notice, so I'm actually going to rush him into these peasant bows to try and stop them here in just a moment. And again, we're just doing cycle charges back here to try and break these foot squires who are still being supported by this Grail Relique over here. At this point, the Fey Enchantress has also been murdered. Her body should be somewhere around here. She was killed by those two Goblin Big Bosses. And we are chasing off retreating units so they do not come back with this very broken Squig Hopper and this one Goblin Big Boss. Again, we don't want them to come back into the fight. We're trying to break the rest of the army. So all that's left now at this point are going to be these foot squires supported by the Grail Relique, who we are trying to just destroy. But they are fighting to the end, again, because they are supported by that Grail Relique's aura. And you can see the Grail Reliques, I think, are going to be one of the last things to break, but we are going to get a greenskin victory here without their leader, the Fey Enchantress. They are going to break in just a moment. But again, you can see, like, the Grail Reliques, they just do not want to give up. They just fight to the bitter end. And that's going to be it. So this test was, I guess, a success. This wasn't really the army I had expected, though. And of course, there are very many variations of a Bretonnian army you can run into now. So I would like to test this build some more. But let's take a look at the kill counts. The Squig Hoppers and Squig Herd did okay, but again, the Squig Herd, though, they were damaged in the fight against the Knights because I really wanted to crush out the Knights. That wasn't really their role. Their role was to kill Foot Squires, but they were unfortunately almost dead by the time they actually got into the infantry fight. But they did help our Orc Boar Boy Biggins win the Cav fight, which was a big victory for us, so I guess it was fine. The Squig Hoppers, though, here you can see almost 100 kills each. Well, I mean 63, but, you know, we'll round up to almost 100. Now, most of these were on Men-at-Arms, which is an ideal target for Squig Hoppers since they are anti-infantry. But again, this is built to kind of combat a anti-foot squire with some men-at-arms support, not the other way around. And in fact, I probably should have put more squig herds than squig hoppers. Maybe I should just do 2 squig hoppers and like 3 squig herds. I don't know. Well, I'll test it out. But I kind of like this build. We have a lot of anti-armor, anti-large units with the 4 Orc Boy Biggins. They are supported by Goblin Big Bosses with poison damage. And of course, Warzag, you can swap out some spells and get the Foot of Gork, which I do not have in this battle. But you can do that if you want an extra advantage against the enemy cav. And then hopefully the Goblin line can take it out for the Squig, Hoppers, and Herds to chew apart the enemy infantry. That's the idea around this army. And it kind of worked. At least for this one battle, but again, I want to test this build out a little bit more. So good game to Joe Cool of 2009. The Men-at-Arms did pretty well at killing our goblins. The Foot Squires did pretty well at killing our goblins. The Cav fight did not necessarily go into their favor just because we had equal amount of Cav and then a whole other slew of forces that were able to assist us in killing them. Since their Men-at-Arms are kind of far away, so we won that battle there. And the Grail Reliques, they are just so good. You saw how long they kept these Men-at-Arms in the fight. They were basically like unbreakable Men-at-Arms with these Grail Reliques nearby, so very good choice in picking those. So hope you enjoyed that battle against the Bretonians and the Fey Enchantress, and let's watch a cinematic view of the Squig Hoppers. A unit that you don't really see often, which is another reason why I'm trying to incorporate them into a build. Next will have to be Goblin Chariots, but that's like a whole other challenge, but I'll eventually get around to them. I can't even remember the last time I saw these guys brought into a fight. And honestly, I forget that they even exist too. Like, I haven't brought them into a fight in months. But since Bretonian infantry is so strong now, I thought, you know, maybe now's the time to give them another shot. That's gonna hurt. I doubt these squigs can eat a horse whole, right? He is Gabos.
Back that front! Ooh, just power! Way back! Stab him in Japan! This! Moving fast! Austin!
That must have been a misclick because she hit her own troops more than she hit my gobos. so many spell effects going on.
They are blessed by the enchantress!
Over here! Moving fast! It's heavy! Time for smoldering! Run, boys!
This stinks! Moving fast! Sifting it! Running! I'll kill us! Moving fast! Dog us out!
Run, boys!
Oh, I guess that's the end of these men-at-arms over here.
Wagons! Lagging! We do it! Smash 'em up!
Boston! Let's go!
Moving fast!
Smash 'em!
That was a bloody battle. So many units on that field. But yeah, it was nice to pull out the squig hoppers again. Because I think we all forget they even exist. But they're there. And as if this is any indication, they may be cost effective against Bretonia. But the thing is, like, these men-at-arms are only 350, I think the shielded versions are. And the squig hoppers are 650, squig curs are 500. So, like, that's not super cost effective, but that's why I really want to test them against a like foot squire corps to see how well they do against those. I mean, I guess I could just run a test battle like against the eye or something, but I want to see it in multiplayer, you know. But hopefully sometime in the future I'll be able to bring this build again against the Bretonians, and we'll see. But hope you enjoyed. That person looks like they're about to have a very bad... Actually, are they being eaten by that squig? It's hard to tell at this angle. No, I think they're just dying on top of the squig. That's weird. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, everybody. I will see you all next time. Take care.